Okay, so we're going to look at a few little images to kind of get an idea. If you look at, there's striations in the land. Further distance, you can barely see it, but you can have light and shadow. And the light indicates the slope. Like here, you'll see a little bit of a light. And then you see dark on this side, which indicates that this is getting more sunlight than this side. So these could be the area in the mountain that is actually not getting the light from the sun, and thus having that gray tone, dark gray tone to it. Now here's another one where you can have almost like it's a close-up of this area. Looks like it. These striations in here are from the way the land was done, but the dark and the light represent what is getting sun and what is not. So we're going to kind of create that same appeal. Now when you have a cloudy day, usually your ground is going to look rather dark. So just as I have this dark, I'm going to add some more shade in here. Using my smudging rag. And since I'm not liking the way that fence looked on this edge of this hill, I'm going to change it to my benefit, and I'm going to make it look as if this might actually be a drop-off. And then that wall right there is connected to it. And then we have this piece of land that is actually at a downward angle. Now when you have an area, let's say the small building, you're going to need a small smudging stump for the tiny little areas that you have in here. You will probably need to also use a shield to erase some areas. Let's say we could use maybe section. I'm putting in a little bit of shading on this part of the house because it's not getting any light at all. Now shingles have kind of a texture to it, so you don't want to leave it where it looks completely flat. If you have siding on your house, you will have straight lines, but at a distance sometimes you cannot tell. Now for this, you can actually say that this sidewalk here, let's see, we're going to have the mountain that covers kind of some of that up. The road to it may go over the hill. And stop. See how that works? And you can either make this a black top, which most of my students at this age really find that a lot easier to do than to make a rock or cement slab, which would be a whole lot lighter. Okay, so this area right here may be my light cement slabbed area. And again, we are using this fine pencil, mechanical pencil, and we're going to make little lines for our garage doors. And our sidewalk here. This is where you can actually make everything look like they are straight. You just follow your line, run your little ruler or your shield. But you will be expected to have a building on your property. Now, a lot of times they do not have, if they have a garage down below, they'll have a stair step that goes up to the top of the house. And no doorway that you can see visibly inside until you get in the door. Okay, we want to make sure that that lines up. Okay, so now we're going to have a couple of windows here, so we're going to kind of go at the same angle. You won't be able to see a whole lot. Let's see, we want to make it straight. Okay, now this window may be very dark, because sometimes you can't see in a window. Even during a storm, it all looks pitch black unless they have a light on. Okay, so now we need to make this slab match the curve of the door, or the curve of the garage, or the slope of the garage. Okay. Now, you can make it look like there's a couple of tires that go through here. And then I would erase them to make them look like they've been there. Okay, so now I've kind of gotten my mountain, my area. Now the problem is how am I going to express that I have a building here? Am I going to use shading onto it from, does it have a reflective? Well, it can't quite have a reflective when there's a storm. Now I'm creating a slope right here along this edge. But I'm also there we go. Now, on my road, I know this looks rather wide and this does not, so we may make this a little bit wider and make it pitch black. So we're going to feed our road into here, goes around the corner, and we're going to go a little bit wider. And that we will color all black. I'm going to lay our pencil sideways so we can get that nice deep dark look to it. Now to get the little lines onto our road, we're going to work with that using paint. You want to get your drawing done first. And the white paint usually makes a really nice accent, or you can take whiteout pens and use that. But before you do your lines on your road, you want to make sure that you know exactly where your lines are going to go, or it's going to look funky. And you're going to be going, what did I do wrong? Okay, so now we have our road. Where we go from here, we don't know yet. Okay, so now I'm going to take this pencil and I'm going to make some different striations in here. Make some darker, some lighter. And then I'm going to choose to darken in a few little lines in there, because it could look like there's a cavern in there, or something's wrong. Could be a volcano. When I lived in Flagstaff, we had a volcano that had lines on it. It was actually an inactive volcano, is what they called it in Flagstaff. But it always had these really cool areas that had caves in them. Okay, I'm going to take my finger again and I'm going to rub it up against this. And then I'm going to take my Knead Eraser. I can remember what I did with them. Okay, we're going to have to take a break.